Thank you. Well, it is wonderful to be here, and it is such an honor to be with you and be able to ask my questions.
We feel the same about you.
Thank you. Boy, you do get nervous up here. Okay, so we have two people. We're going to call them Jack and Jill. Jack is paddling upstream as fast as he can, and he's stuck, and he's in his downward spiral, and he's creating all these events, and on his way home he gets a flat tire, and he gets home and the dog got into the garbage, and he brings that to work with him the next day, and everyone he makes contact with, he's trying to pull down into his downward spiral with him.
Or not even trying to pull them down. It's just that law of attraction is matching him up with other people who are having the same kind of life.
Quite possible, quite possible.
Quite possible, yes.
That works very well, thank you. But I heard in an earlier session where when another person comes down to that same vibrational frequency, then they're exponentially more powerful at slamming doors together.
Well, it's because you play off of one another. In other words, when it's just you, it's just the power of your thought and your experience. But when you start talking to others and interacting with others, you just activate a whole bunch more energy around it. So you do become a more attractive pod if there are more of you. In other words, a group of you complaining will compound each of your disconnection from source. But one who's connected to the stream is more powerful than a million who are not.
Okay, so along comes Jill. And Jill is riding on the cloud. She's bubbly, she's bouncy, she's got the little pigtails in her hair. And
annoying, isn't she?
And she's actually blowing bubbles. She blows bubbles. I mean, literally blows bubbles. And this is a dramatization. But Jill is so far away from Jack that when she comes in contact with Jack, she only pushes him further into his downward spiral.
Because Jill represents everything that Jack wants to be. He can't verbalize that, but she represents what he wants to be. So as he beholds her as he wants to be, he is reminded that he's not there, which causes him to beat the drum of his lack even more, which makes her, bubble-flowing freak that she is, even more annoying.
Exactly. Now, Jill is faced with a dilemma because Jill understands that she brought Jack into her life, and she understands that while he is in her world creating his issues, she's actually creating that in her world. So she decides that it is her responsibility to help Jack turn downstream.
And now, instead of blowing bubbles, how does she feel? She's no longer blowing bubbles. Now she's focused upon the fact that she believes that Jack needs help. Now she's focused on his problem, which means now she has activated within herself the same, and now she can't help Jack because she has observed him in his disconnection, and now she is no longer in alignment. You see, because Jill's inner being would never look at Jack's problems. Jill's inner being would only see his vibrational escrow. And as long as Jill is focused upon Jack's vibrational escrow, she still blows bubbles. And occasionally they will sync up because no matter how bad things are, Jack cannot stay down in the dumps all day, every day. He occasionally sleeps, he occasionally meditates, he occasionally pets his cat, he occasionally does things where his resistance is less. And law of attraction, sooner or later, hooks them up in that time of greater connection. And now, because Jill has held steadfast to the vibration of Jack's dream, now she can help him.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jack. We really mean you're welcome, Jill.
I was trying to be Jill.
But it wasn't nearly as funny.
Right.
You are Jill. Next time you tell the story, why not switch names?
I seem to have difficulty releasing my negative connotations with money. The opportunities are there. The money is around, but I refuse to accept it.
We are, today especially, but we always do it, we are attempting to help you take money out of the equation by pronouncing this a vibrational game. You see, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So when your first introduction to the idea of money was that there isn't enough of it, and that's true of so many people, no matter how much you seem to have, you are often believing that it isn't quite as much as you would like there to be. And so most people, not all, but most people, especially in your Western culture, have a belief of not enough money. So then we say to you that it isn't money that takes you to all that the universe has lined up for you. In other words, let's play this game for just a moment. We're just going to throw some questions out to you, just to sort of shake loose this feeling of attachment to money. You will like how it feels as it unfolds. If someone gave you a choice, someone that you trusted and believed in, if someone offered you $1 million, or this could be a new television program, if someone offered you $1 million or assured happiness, what would you take?
I mean, the $1 million isn't going to make me happy, but I don't understand assured happiness. I really don't. I want to be happy, but what?
We're beginning to understand your struggle here, because the money is tangible and real to you. And the things that we have been offering to you are vibrational. They are intangible. They are about your projection of thought. Everything that comes to you like money comes on the heels of vibrational alignment. So we were just trying to get you to lean in the direction of wanting the vibration rather than the action, because when you choose the vibration first, the action has to follow. And then we're going to follow up with our big crescendo by saying to you, now that you have opted for all of those things that you can control through the power of your mind, now all the money in the world that you would ever want will have to flow on that same string. But you chose door number 2 and got a refrigerator.
I think we've gone off on a tangent.
You're the bubble blower.
I am the bubble, and I need to blow more bubbles. But I'm trying to take money out of the equation, and I can do that. I can make the money go away. But it seems that's easy. But
that is not what we mean by taking money out of the equation.
This is, I think, the 3rd or 4th question today about money. And it keeps coming back into the equation.
Oh, well, we would say, all right, let's put new words. Let the money coming in be a measurement of your expectation for the money coming in. Because that's what it always is. More money won't come in than you expect. It can't. More than you expect can't come. And you can change your expectations. And you must change your expectation if you want more money to come in.
Okay. But the original negative connotation that I have about money.
Well, let's talk about that. Give us some statements about money, and let's find out how negative they are.
I've often felt that money causes a lot of problems. People get into fights over money. Families get divided over money. So-and-so got the money and so-and-so didn't. And
all right, so now we want to ask you the question. Was the fight about having too much money or about not having enough money?
It's usually about not having enough money.
Thank you for that. If you'd gone the other way, we were going to be done with you.
Okay.
Just kidding. So it's about shortage of money that all of that is about. In other words, the reason that they're fighting over it is because they do not believe in the enoughness of it. They haven't figured out how to get it to flow into their experience. And so money is a bad thing because people fight over it. And then you stop and say, wait a minute, they're not fighting over the abundance of money. They're fighting because they feel a shortage of money. And so it's not the money that is wrong. It's the shortage consciousness that is messing them up. It's their belief in not enough money that's keeping their lives from being happy, not the money itself. And so I don't need to worry about having too much money and ruining my life. It's the shortage consciousness that I'm wanting to release. Doesn't that turn you downstream? Doesn't that feel better? Doesn't that feel better?
I'm usually the one who has too much money. I'm usually not the one complaining. But I play that down a bit because people become jealous. And I actually don't really have that much money. But if I have more than so-and-so, then I feel judged because I have more money. And then when more money comes in, I reject it because it has that negative connotation with
that
me.
May be true, but we think you're overthinking all of this. We think you've started with a flawed premise, and then you're trying to shore up your flawed premise with all of this rationale, and it's got you scrambled in a way that you can't get turned around.
Likely.
So what we're wanting to do is to help you to get at the root of your flawed premise so that you can let go all of this erroneous padding that you're doing to try to make your flawed premise hold water. And so here's the flawed premise, and it's not just with you, it's with most. The flawed premise is that money comes to me because of what I do, when really money and everything else comes to you because of what you think, because of how you feel. You never say, I have been so well for so long that I think I will be sick for the next 10 years to give sick people a chance to be well. And you say, I would never do that, because I don't think that my being well is depriving any of them of being sick. And we say, and your having money is not depriving any of them of having money. But then you say, Abraham, I can feel what's happening here. I care more about what they think about me than I care about how I feel. If somebody is bothered because you are prospering in some way, you just have to say to them, everyone can have whatever they want, and I'm nowhere near the prosperity level that I am on my way to, because the sky's the limit, and I'm not there, and you too can have all that you are wanting. Whether they can hear you or not has to do with where they are relative to the subject. There are two things that are vibrational problems for humans that stand out above all others. One is money, because it interweaves with so much of your life experience. And the other is your physical body, because you take it nearly everywhere you go. So if there is a lack or a shortage that has to do with either one of those subjects, there is a tendency that all day, every day, law of attraction is just bringing you more evidence that compounds that belief. So you believe it, law of attraction gives you more of it, you see more of it, you believe it more. Now you believe it more, law of attraction gives you more of it, and now you see it, so you believe it more. So what happens is you move through life experience, as you have described yourself, of coming to an attitude or a belief about something that you know isn't serving you, but you just can't shake it. And we say the reason that you're not shaking it is because you're not yet following the guidance, and you're caring more about what they're thinking than you are about how you're feeling. We know who you are. We know who you were before you were born. We know what life has caused you to amass. We know how you feel about money. We can feel the vibrational abundance that you have become. And when you don't let yourself get up to speed with that, you don't feel so good. And you can use every excuse in the world by saying, well, I feel this way because that one's jealous of me, or I feel this way because I'm trying to hold myself back so that I can get along better in the world. And we say, not any of that holds water for us. Every bit of that discomfort that you feel around the subject of money is that you have amassed a fortune that for some screwy reason you are holding yourself apart from. There's not enough action in the world for you to close that gap. The only thing that is going to bring more money into your experience and the feeling of well-being that is what you're really looking for is for you to find thoughts about money that resonate in the same way that your inner being feels about money. So these are the things that your inner being knows about money. We said let's take money out of the equation. That didn't work out so well for you, so we're going to put money fully in the equation for you, and we are going to tell you what your inner being knows about money. And when you work to know this in the way that your inner being knows it, money beyond description is going to come pouring into all of your experiences, any of you who do it. So here's what your inner being knows about money. Money will expand proportionate to the ideas that you have about that which you want to utilize it on. So the more you're out mixing it up in the world, and the more you are looking around for things that you would like to exchange money for, the more money will begin to flow into your experience. That is a powerful understanding. Money is unlimited because energy is unlimited, and money is only a byproduct of energy. Now, just to help you understand that a little further, let's talk about your economy. It wasn't that many hundreds of years ago that you were trading beads with the Indians. In other words, there was hardly anything economic that was going on. And you have not hooked up a pipeline to another planet somewhere where the economy is being infused into your planet. In other words, the economy is nothing more than an expansion of the human desires. Don't you find it interesting? Jerry and Esther will drive around from city to city, and they'll be out in the middle of nowhere. They'll drive and drive and drive across fields and fields and fields and fields and fields and fields, miles and miles and miles of nothing but miles and miles and miles. And then they will come into a community where everyone's clustered together, and they're all earning their living by selling things to each other. In other words, they're trading services, they're trading products, they're trading this and that. In other words, they've made the economy out of their desire to live together and their desire to interchange. And so the economy is expanding because of the ideas that you have. Everything that you've lived, every day of your life, has put a fortune into vibrational escrow, and there is no shortage of money there. There is as much money as you can teach yourself to expect that is there.